All right, back out at the range today with the Ruger RXM. As you know, already done an initial review. Miss G Squared Tactical had a few words to say about it on camera as well, so I asked her to come out and try to maybe talk a little bit. She says it's hard for her to really explain why it is that maybe she likes one thing better than another, but she said she would try. But as you know, I try to come out and do an initial review, maybe 150, 200 on occasion, depends on how much I enjoy shooting the gun. And then I'll just kind of put the video up, let the comment section get a little bit crazy sometimes. Hear what people's got to say, because they'll always let me know what other reviewers said, what kind of problems they had, if they didn't have a problem, so on and so forth. And it helps me with the next review that I do on the gun. So I want to be fair, and I want to say a lot of people gave me grief about what I had to say about it, that I wasn't the biggest fan of it, and my reasons for why. Now, if I just wanted to dog the gun, if that was my only intention, I'm sure I could have done something to make it malfunction, and you would have never been the wiser. But I did not do that. I put 150 or whatever it was, and I plainly said it wouldn't malfunction. I never thought that it would malfunction. I mean, obviously they copied a very well grounded, well founded, been around for what, decades. They copied one of the most reliable platforms on the planet. So of course it worked, and I've never doubted that it would, right? But my issue was is that I bought, like I said, I bought three Rugers for my first three grandbabies. Obviously, I'm not a Ruger hater. I'm not hating on Ruger at all. But for years, I've wanted to love their polymers when they came out with the security and the full size and all of that. I'm like, in picture, it doesn't look that bad. But when you get in the store, you start pulling the trigger, looking at the polymer, the finish, and everything else. You're like, man, this just seems cheap, for not such a cheap price. And people are rabid about them. I don't like the little LCPs. I don't like the 75th LCP. I just don't like the LCP in general. You can hear them rusting on a quiet night. They rust in my pocket every single time. The Bodyguard never done that. The SIG P938 never done that. But the LCP certainly did. Both of them, the stainless and the all black. So, but I'm not a hater. I wanted Ruger to make a new polymer frame gun. What upsets me about it is that they're their own brand. They could have made their own gun. They could have designed their own lower, their own upper. They have that ability. For an established American company that's been around for many, many years, to copy a third generation of a competitor, just in my opinion anyway, this is just my opinion. Maybe you thought it was genius. I feel like they should have stayed true to themselves, okay? So they made a Glock clone, right? I have two other Glock clones here. And so my wife said, after shooting the axe, so she shot the axe, the Bull Armory axe, and her response when I started questioning her was, "Oh yeah, no, that's way better than the RXM." And I asked her why that was, and she was kind of vague with her response, because she said that, it's kind of hard for her to explain what she means when she's on camera. She said that she felt like the slide was smoother on the Bull axe. She said it felt way, way better in the hand, like she had just a better grip on it. And that speaks to what I said about the RXM just being blocky. So can you make a Glock clone just like this one? I literally took the slide off of this one and I put it on the RXM. And I think it'll function. It locked back on the magazine and all that. I'm pretty sure it'll function. So this is just as much a Glock clone as the RXM, right? Just as much. And but this one has way more aggressive texturing all the way around.
It feels better.
Feels way better in the hand. I mean, just the trigger guard, how much they cut out of the trigger guard. Just these real well-defined memory pads that act as gas pedals on the side of the frame. So, but the frame is all Glock. You know, it even has a Glock slide lock or release. Everything about it is just as much a Glock clone as this is. It definitely shot better. I mean, I shot better with it. She was probably 60% better with it than she did with the RXM. Now, I did have an issue with the optic on the RXM, and this one's not optic ready, granted. And some people had said this one was $500. It's not true. You can find it on sale, even an optic ready version of it. You can find this on sale for about 350 bucks. Some places are already selling this one for $4.99, but $3.99, you know, normal price, going price, if you will, right now. And for what? Some raised sights and, you know, an optic mounting system. I mean, is that what you're paying for? Because they certainly could have done to the RXM what they done to this one. So we have another one here. We have the Rock Island, should I say? The, how do we pronounce that? The Dira. I think so. We have the Rock Island Dira DY9. Okay. Now, I shot really well with this gun. I would say just as good. I don't really like the sights on this gun, but they are True Glow, right? I mean, they are a name brand True Glow sight, easily changeable, just like on the RXM, right? And I shot just as good as I did with the RXM. Why could they not have made better gas pedals or texturing on the front of the frame? Why could they not have given you a bigger trigger guard like they did on the Rock Island? Why not give you a flared mag well? Why not give you a better ergonomic grip with better texturing all the way around and interchangeable back straps like they did on the RIA? Out of all three of the Glock clones that I have with me today, this one feels the best in the hand because of the flared mag well, keeping your grip high and tight, the very well undercut trigger guard, and the cutaways along each side. So out of all of them, in the hand, this one feels better. I don't know, have you held this one? So you hold that one. Okay, and then hold this one.
Yeah.
That one's better? And then what about this one?
There's just no text, nothing to grip really.
And it's blocky. So it's talking about the frame on this one being just, you know, kind of blocky, too thick, and no options. I lost my wife, by the way. She said she had to make a phone call, but anyway, and the battery died on the camera as well. But either way, we was talking about the frame of this one being blocky. I don't care that you can buy another module. There's so many guns that you can buy another module for. The Echelon, SIG, there's several companies that do that, right? But the ones that do, the grip module that comes with it, prior to wanting to buy or having to buy another one, is already ergonomically pleasing, right? It's already feels great in the hand. There's very few of them that I've actually changed the grip module on, like the Echelon. Like, I like it just like it came. This is blocky, barely undercut, eat your knuckles up. Like, don't tell me that they could not have done this right here and still clone the Glock, you know? If they were going to do that, I don't think they should have, but if they were going to, right, they could have done this. They could have done the RIA, the Dira, right? But they didn't. They literally copied it to a T. To be fair, the gun did not malfunction. There were no problems, and I listened to what people have to say. Someone told me to go over to someone else's video. They sent me a link to it. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was, which reviewer it was, but they were having an issue where when they were using Glock magazines. Now, I think it was also with P-mags, right? Some like extended P-mags, not the one that came with it. They were having an issue where they would put the magazine in and go to drop the slide, and it wouldn't drop. They would have to rack it several times, and it seemed to only be happening with mags other than the ones that came with it. So the P-mags, the 15-round P-mags that came with it, were performing fine. right now I just want to see if that happens, because it's the only thing that anyone said that anybody had an issue with. I had no issue with the gun. So, but I wanted to test this. This is my Gen 5. This came out of my Glock 19 Gen 5. And he was doing this. So, you know, he wasn't hitting the slide release. He was doing that right there, and it just would not go in the battery. It just wouldn't even try to fall down. Obviously, as you can see, it did, and one did go in there. So no problem with that one. So let's try the 17 round Gen 3. So I have the magazine out of my Gen 3, 17 round Gen 3 Glock. Okay, so no problem, no issue with that one. And then I have my 21 round P mag, which I kind of already know is okay because I used it the other day and it fell right down on that one as well. So I don't know what kind of issue that reviewer was having, but obviously he was having one, right? And mine seems not to have that issue. So no malfunctions with the gun. So I just kind of wanted to address, I know some people got angry, but for me, you have to understand, I did not trash the gun and its functionality, right? Of course, they copied a very tried and true platform, and I just don't think they should have done it, right? They should have designed their own gun. People like Ruger. I wanted to like Ruger polymers and have wanted them to change it up for years. I have wanted them to give a facelift to their polymer frame guns, and I was so disappointed that they decided to clone a Glock, and not only that, but get Magpul to make the frame for them. They should have done it themselves and made it their own gun. Just my opinion. Don't mean much, but that's my opinion. Just want to be sure that it functions, to address something that someone said to me in the comment section. Turn this up a little bit. So Gen 3 mag, done fine, no problems with that. This is my Gen 5 Glock 19 magazine. Locked back on that mag, no problems at all. So whatever I told you that was, what, 32, 182, 183. But listen, I complained about the trigger too. And that's one of the things she told me in the truck on the way home. She said, you know, Gene, I know I didn't play with it. And I know I didn't, you know, I don't shoot as much as you do. But I do shoot the guns that you shoot, most of them anyway. And I don't recall having an issue where, you know, I was like pop pop double tapping guns. You know, even some of your guns with 1 and 2 pound triggers on them. You know what? I don't know what that was. What was that? And it was what I was describing in the video. How that, you know, there's really no defined wall, and you know, a rolling break is fine. There's a lot of guns that have a rolling break. My Kimber Mako had a rolling break, my carbon compact, but it was predictable when it did break. This one kind of feels like it's going to go into a rolling break and then just out of nowhere, like it shocks you, it just breaks. Now, with that being said, the more I shoot the gun, as with any gun, I'm getting used to the trigger. That doesn't necessarily mean that the trigger is a good trigger. It just means I'm getting used to it, and it's not, you know, it's not terrible. And as you know, I'm not a trigger snob. Again, I just wish they would have done better for a $400 gun. We'll just keep running it. I don't think it's going to have a problem. But there you have it, folks. 182 rounds officially, no problems. I've addressed some of the things that I said negative about the gun, and I still feel that way. I don't feel like I should have to buy a $40, $50, you know, frame or lower or module, if you will. to conform it to me. I feel like there's so many guns out there that would have done that so much better, and I just feel like this is again my opinion, and try to remember that it is my opinion. The gun has not malfunctioned, but can you really give Ruger credit for that, or can you give Glock credit for that? That's all I'm saying. Make sure you know Jesus Christ is your Savior, the most important thing that you'll ever do in this lifetime. If you don't know how, ask me how. I would love to talk to you about that. Consider a super thanks on YouTube. $5, $2, 50 cents, $10, 25. Want to send me 100? Go ahead and do that. I'm appreciative of any of it. Thank God for anything that you're able to help me out with. Soon I will have a place on my website at gsquaredtactical.com where you can make a donation, and I will receive more of that, and it'll go directly to me and be a one-time thing. Trying to get that straightened out as we speak. Also, Patreon still available, monthly subscription over there. And I do get that money when you do the super thanks on YouTube. That money does go to me. So if you had any concerns, I do actually get that money. So you can do that as well. There's several options to help out, so I can keep buying ammo to do more in-depth reviews with some of these guns. Again, hit the thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe. It's the only way I can stay relevant. I thank you so much for watching. And as always, to God be the glory.